welcome to episode 12 of the weekly debate / discussion show, #shout. I'm TheLonewalker1.
And I'm SteveJones313. Now, sadly, Dan, the Geek King Adamson, couldn't be with us this week as he's moving house. And also, we did have a special guest, Boop. Unfortunately, the train has let him down. As we're recording this, Kai, the cool guy Shepherd, is actually waiting for his train. So hopefully we'll get him on a future show. Maybe next week we'll have Dan and Kai. Who knows?
That would be good. Every week, speaking next week, we will be bringing you some of the headlines from around the world and discussing the issues, as well as throwing in some of our own topics that come to our attention.
From Eurovision to Euro 2012, from the decline of the economy to the decline of Dan's interest in the news segment of this show, we discuss anything and everything, including some of the lesser-known news of the week.
With that being said, let's look at this week's news. Hopefully, this will go better than last week.
Well, actually, we've got a follow-up from last week.
We have a follow-up?
Yes. A follow-up story to what we reported last week. The town of Boring, Oregon, USA, have voted to pair with the Scottish village of Boring.
Woo!
This means that Dull and Boring are now official sister communities. Officials from both places believe that this will improve tourism, improve merchandise, and they now have the licensing to go ahead and sell Dull and Boring merchandise.
So basically, like, I don't know, Stephanie May's works.
Yeah, but could you imagine it now? It's like, purchase this exciting, dull and boring merchandise. What?
Isn't that a bit like an oxymoron? Your face is an oxymoron.
Boom. Respect to Dan. And our next...
See, we can't let the lack of Dan take away the booming.
Exactly. In our next story, it has been announced by Beijing that 2 new parts of the Great Wall of China will be opened up to meet the high tourist demand.
What, does that mean they're, like, doing an extension?
No, the parts of the wall that were previously closed.
How do you close a wall?
Local news agencies were told by city officials that 4 parts of the wall currently open to the public are being overcrowded during the holidays and weekends, leading to some tourists scaling the closed wall section, resulting in damages. So basically, parts of the building are closed.
I'm sorry. I'm choking on the funny.
Parts of the wall are closed off to the general public, so people are like restricted certain sections. But it's overcrowded. People are trying to climb over the walls of the closed-off sections, causing damage to the Great Wall of China.
You gotta love that.
So
basically, people are going, do you know what? We are going to define the very point this was made for.
Basically, tourists are the greatest threat to the Great Wall since the Mongols. I'm just saying, you know.
Well, to be fair, people from different countries throughout the past have always had a good television.
What you bet half of them are from Newcastle? I'm just saying.
Aye.
Like, I gotta get on this wall.
You know that there is going to be at some point a Geordie in China going, that I have got to climb. Of course, in a more.
I'm pretty certain our brother Andrew's tried to do that.
Probably.
I don't care if he says he's never been to China. He's fucking one of the man. How much he broke into a cathedral.
We're not supposed to talk about that.
It's all right.
I doubt the police watch this show or listen to it. Sorry.
Precisely. But speaking,
if there are any Rosses,
however, speaking of police and people being naughty, it's time for us to get our judgmental face on. Are you ready?
Yes.
I said judgmental, not Hulk. Touch. There you go. Victoria Parker, former employee of the East of England Ambulance Service. East of England Ambulance Service.
East of Eden.
Yes, East of Eden. Has resigned after it was discovered she deliberately deflated a tyre of her ambulance to avoid call-outs.
You little bugger!
She was called out in March of 2012, and she told her partner that 2010, and she told her partner that she had worked out a way of getting out of it. At her hearing, she stated, and this is a quote, "I untwiddled the valve cap, and with my pen, I let out a little air of a tyre. I told control we had a slow flat." So, although the HPC found her guilty of misconduct, Miss Parker resigned long before the investigation was complete.
Okay, I'm breaking the humorous thing we normally have the show. I genuinely hope this lady, at some point, has an emergency accident and they can't get an ambulance to her. You disgusting little git. You work for the emergency services. Your job is to save people. If you go against that job because you can't be asked to get off your buttocks and get out there, then you do not deserve the wealth and power you are given with the honour of an ambulance. I hope you get hit by an ambulance and fall in a river of fire.
Just to translate that to Dan, who's listening, what he said was, "She's a bitch and she needs to die!"
I want an ambulance to hit it and go boom.
Anyway,
Respect to Dan.
now on to a subject which is far more close.
Hashtag respect to Dan.
Oh god, don't sell that trending. There's a hashtag that Jismy will not trend.
He will trend
And
this, or
in a story close to my heart,
I'll trend my foot up his ass.
Subway are making a bid to fight against the UK government's plan to impose a 20% tax on toasted foods. Following the government's plans to impose a tax on hot snack foods such as sausage rolls and pasties, which were obviously destroyed, you know, the public went, no, we will not have this pasty tax.
Basically, people went into Greg's Reddit and went, there is no apathy in England when they're pasties.
Yeah. Don't fuck with our pastries.
Oh,
Figuratively and literally. But anyway, since the dissolving, have you ever seen American Pie? But since the dissolving of those plans,
pasties.
they are now planning on forcing a 20% tax on toasted goods, such as toasted sandwiches that you could purchase at Subway. So yesterday, Subway sent the following email to subscribed members. We need your help. You might have seen stories in the press about the pasty tax, but there is a far bigger story that's gone unreported. The toast tax. Because believe it or not, thanks to the government legislation, simply having your favorite sub toasted should mean it could cost you 20% more. Crazy, right? We think so too. Which is why up until now, your friendly neighborhood Subway store has swallowed that cost. So you haven't had to pay any more for the subs you know and love. The thing is, the store owners are telling us that they're not sure how much longer they can carry on doing that. Now, with the recent budget showing no end to the government's toast tax, something's got to change, and that's where you can make a difference.
Now,
sign our petition and turn this tax to toast. By signing the petition, you can help stop the chance of unfairly penalizing individually owned Subway stores and tens of thousands of people that work in the sandwich shop industry. Together, we can make this toast tax, well, toast. And it goes on. Now, yeah, as you say...
See, there is a very big problem, and it's mainly this. What they're doing is being ridiculous.
See, I grant you, financially, there is a kind of benefit for things costing more. It doesn't boost the economy, it kills it mainly, but I see the point. The thing is, if you're going to impose a tax like this, one, do it at a time in which it will work. Two, it won't stop people eating the sandwiches. It will just make it all the sweeter when we go, by eating the sandwich, I am saying bugger you, the government. That sandwich will taste twice as nice.
I just think the government's getting pretty fucking desperate for money now. It's like saying, okay, we're going to put a 20% tax on pasties, and we're going to put a 20% tax on toasted goods. It's like...
Here's the deal. I'd pay to kick them all in the chin.
I just said, hey government, do you want a good way of making lots of money real quick, right? And also solving one of your biggest issues in the country? Legalize and tax marijuana. Just saying.
Oh, and stop buying second houses.
Yeah, that might be an idea.
And if you are going to buy a second house, give us all marijuana. Well, part of the people who don't want to smoke it.
Well, that's the thing, you know, the government has this idea that, if we legalize marijuana, in fact, we'll probably cover this as a section, but you want to tax something, tax that, legalize it, regulate it, and guess what? You got to kill a huge aspect of the black market to begin with.
Ironically, the funny thing is that not allowing weed to be sold is a weed on the economy.
Yeah, and not only that, think about how many Subways you'll sell with people marijuana.
And
like the munchies.
Oh, that is a beautiful... I reckon we should make marijuana pasties.
Well, I don't want marijuana. You know, the only drugs I've ever done are painkillers and alcohol. But anyway, that's the end of this week's news. So now this is the part of the show where we open up the phone for any and all topics. So seeing as we're already on it, let's talk a bit more about marijuana.
Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I'm all up for the legalization of marijuana.
Absolutely.
I would like to point out I do not smoke it. However, I understand,
this is my understanding of it, that it is not lethal.
Yes.
It is actually beneficial to health.
Mm-hmm.
That the IQ points dropped when high are gained back when not high.
Basically, what the problem is, the biggest argument for marijuana, against marijuana, is that it's a gateway drug, that so much has been done under the influence of marijuana. But here's the problem. Things like, you can try and argue that, it's a gateway drug. Well, alcohol is far worse. And the thing is, we're going to end up repeating arguments that have been said time and time again. So let's try and bullet point the obviouses. Number one, we'll agree, alcohol is more harmful than marijuana in terms of direct deaths directly caused by the influence of alcohol, by incidents involving alcohol. Alcohol is far more dangerous than marijuana.
Wasn't it a case of that no deaths have actually been caused by marijuana?
There is never, but first of all, there is never, ever in the history of humanity ever been a case of overdosing on marijuana causing death. It's impossible, apparently. There has just never been a case where someone has died of an overdose of marijuana. Again, as opposed to things like crack and heroin, of course, alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, now we're okay with alcohol. The reason we're okay with alcohol is because basically it is easier to tax it and easier regulate. You know, the government has no problem with alcohol because it can tax it, make a lot of money from it.
Yeah.
With marijuana, it's a scarier aspect. There are more people scared of smoking marijuana than there are drinking. So I just think, but here's what you need to do. The biggest problem with marijuana is that it belongs to the drug trade, and of course medical associates mainly in America, I believe, as opposed to England. But it has medicinal benefits. You can regulate it. If you take that out of the black market and put it into the government's hands, the government that all people fear, you know, you not only do you force people to become more mature and actually learn and educate themselves on the matter and the truth of marijuana, but you can also make it as a benefit. Number one, make it a benefit for those that can really do that, the people who are ill that can benefit of the medicinal values of marijuana, the people who suffer from such stress that marijuana could actually help calm them down. And again, we're not, learning how to handle a marijuana habit, or not a marijuana habit, a marijuana usage.
Yeah.
Is exactly the same as alcohol usage. You know yourself that you don't drink when you're at work. You only drink a little bit before you step into a car. You know, this is the mindset of normal people, right? I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I don't need it. And I don't enjoy it as much anymore. But I knew when I could drink and when I couldn't drink. If I was to take up marijuana, which I won't, but if, let's say, in a world I smoke, I would have to post restrictions on that as well. It's like any other habit. It's like sane people, let's say if you want to have a wank every once in a while, sane people go, well, you don't do it while you're at work and you don't do it when you're in a car, right? Sane people find the time and place. Drinking, smoking, wanking, everything has a time and place. It's just a matter of learning how to do it. Yeah. The people who keep banging on saying, oh, it will destroy people, are either fucking paranoid delusionists or people who won't educate themselves or just Puritans.
See, the thing is, right, the people who go, oh, it kills people, right, here's the deal. I'm not going to name them because I'll get them in trouble, but I have a fair few friends in my school who smoke pot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, I'm not stupid. They're not getting, their names mentioned.
Of course.
I have spoken to one of them when he was high, and he was fine. He wasn't in danger. He was in a safe environment with guardians and friends, and he wasn't sitting there being a scary guy. He was asking me whether hamsters could fly.
Yeah.
Because he was scared that his hamster might break out of his cage and fly away, and he didn't want to lose his hamster. Is that the kind of thing that scares you people? Is that the kind of thing that makes you paranoid?
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And again, here's the thing. I think this is what you're going to do. If you're going to argue marijuana, if you're really going to argue marijuana, let's be honest, let's be blunt, but let's be fair.
Yeah.
There are negatives. Of course there are negatives. The same negatives exist in a certain way, like when you talk about alcohol. It's the loss of control.
Yeah.
Everyone worries about the loss of control. Here's the thing. Some people can drink, some people can't. Some people can handle drinking a lot, some people can only drink a little. You've got to be able to regulate yourself. The drugs can't do anything without your interference. If you smoke marijuana, it's not the marijuana that's fucking you up. It's you fucking yourself up. You're just using marijuana, just like drink.
Yeah.
It's like, I never did anything. As far as I'm aware, I was a very happy drunk. All I ever wanted to do was philosophize, talk, and sing and dance. I was a good drunk.
And occasionally cook.
And occasionally, of course, cook. But if I ever did act out of place under the philosophical, it's not alcohol's fault. It would be mine. I just used alcohol in my, as a part of it, as a means to poison myself to do it. It would be the same with marijuana. Now, people say, oh, but it's a drug like cocaine has. Well, again, here's the problem. People don't put these things into context. You know, you don't like heroin and meth, marijuana, whatever you want to call these different drugs. Drugs have different properties. You can't just say it's a drug because, you know, paracetamol is a drug. You know, any any medicinal property like, you know, paracetamol, Calpol, you know, aspirin, they're all drugs.
Think about that in your next PSA. Calpol technically is a drug.
Not technically, it is a drug.
Calpol is a drug. We need to stop.
I happen to know for a fact from a couple of friends that Calpol will get you fucked if used properly. Used improperly, I should say.
Although Calpol was the tastiest medicine they ever created.
Oh, I know. Wasn't it great? Even if you just a little bit, if you've had the sniffles as a kid,
I remember friends of mine who would try to get sick because they liked the taste of Calpol.
It was the strawberry flavour. Yeah, actually, it was somewhere between strawberry and blackcurrant.
I know, it was weird.
Yeah, it was like taking a red and purple starburst and then just like nummy on the box.
It's like what Vimto should taste like.
Yes. Yeah. High five. Yeah.
The funny thing is, you people don't know that we high five until you hear that slap connection. It's beautiful.
That slap connection. That sounds like the worst tag team in wrestling. We're the slap connection.
The worst tag team name in history. The Dicks.
Yeah, I suppose.
And the actual worst tag team was, I basically
I'll tell you what, if you guys have an idea of what the worst tag team name in history ever was, just leave it as a comment on this video. We'll happy to say what you know.
Or send it to shoptheshow@gmail.com.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, the whole marijuana argument. Because, you know, I mean, here's the thing. I had friends in the past that did drugs, and, you know, they're not alive anymore. But guess what? It wasn't marijuana. You know the times when they were probably their most level-headed? Either when they weren't doing the other drugs or when they were on marijuana. Because you know what they did when they were on marijuana? They sat on a fucking sofa and, you know? Here's the thing. I don't like talking to people. I used to have this thing where I didn't like talking to people who were smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
There was like one of my friends of mine. They know who they are. I'm not going to mention them. But we got into an argument one day because they told me they're on it. And I exploded with them. I said, I don't want to talk to you when you're smoking. And they went, but I was talking to you yesterday and you didn't complain. I was like, but I didn't know. He said, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, logic corrupts.
The thing is, like I say, I know people who do all the different kind of drugs. It happens in our school. But the thing is, right, they're not bad people. They're idiots, but they're not bad people. The people who smoke marijuana, and only marijuana, because there are a few of them. I've never touched this stuff. I'd like to get that out now. But the people who do, right, I love talking to them when they're stoned. It's funny as hell. Because they're not scary. They're not in danger. They're not sitting there going, I'm going to go and marry a prostitute and call her Beth. It's none of this crap. What? That's none of this crap. They are genuinely funny when they're high. I mean, I've had people, like, write me stories when high about dragons marrying zebras. I have had people come to me and they thought I was the Pope.
Well, you know, again, I mean, but the thing is, when it comes to marijuana, it comes down to being just like the adverts. Drink responsibly. Smoke responsibly. And guess what? Marijuana, not as harmful as cigarettes. Just want to throw that out there. In terms of actual damage to your body, marijuana won't kill you. What you do under the influence may kill you. But again, what you may do under the influence of alcohol may kill you. Are you seeing a pattern?
What you may do under the influence of energy drink may kill you, for God's sake.
I mean, I suspect that the majority of our listeners, like our audience, are probably either pro-marijuana or ambivalent about the subject, like they don't really care, which is fair. But if you do anybody that objects to the stance that we're taking, again, we invite you to share your opinion as to why as a comment. You know, if you
or again at shoptheshow@gmail.com.
You know, but again, I mean, here's our question. You know, one of our questions that you guys can answer in the comments section below. Marijuana, should it be legalized? Give your answer and your explanation why. So if you are for marijuana being legalized, say legalized and leave your reason why. And if you're against it, then say not legalized and give your reasons why. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man.
Well, let's move on to our next topic. And this one I'll spend very quick amount of time on it because I don't want to dwell on it. But it happened. I might as well talk about it. Yesterday, I managed to piss off a lot of Michael Jackson fans on Twitter. Now, after a lot of reflection, I can say that I was basically I was right and wrong, probably more wrong than right. In fact, fairly certain I was more wrong than right. Here's what happened. Basically, it's the anniversary of Michael Jackson being found innocent of the paedophilia charges, right? And it was trending worldwide on Twitter. Not that I needed Twitter to tell me it was trending, considering every motherfucker, who I follow was either saying it or retweeting it, bar a few people who I know, people like Dan and Jismy and all that. So I was seeing this constantly, right? And I was tired. I had very little sleep. I had to go to bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I was like well out of it. I snapped easily, and I left a message. And it wasn't just a message, but it was I basically said this as a reply to, I think it was the head of the Michael Jackson Twitter fan club or something like that. I went,
that's got a funny position to have.
They said Michael Jackson is innocent. And by the way, can I just point out, present term is... So basically, my response was, he's also dead, get over it and do something productive.
Did you hear, by the way, just to interrupt, did you hear that the last president of that club was kicked out? Yeah, they didn't like his leadership style. They thought he was bad. He was bad.
I hate you.
I know you do.
Anyway. How did you sing it? But,
okay. No, I'm there. I'll set the car.
Anyway, so basically, that's what I said to the guy. Within minutes, if not seconds, I was treated to a barrage of written abuse, basically. It was, oh dear God. I had the normal ones, which was like, go fuck yourself, get fucked, you're a tosser, you're a loser. By the way, I always love the term loser, as if we're playing a game.
The funny thing is, they're also sending you random accusations. You had to tell them straight that Billie Jean was not your lover.
Fuck you.
No, you brought up the Michael Jackson. I'm making all the jokes.
But the point is, I had some people were like threatening me. Some people said that I hoped I died. Some people said I hope my family dies. Which is, by the way, stay classy, Twitter. Stay classy. But again, such things like you're a loser, and the fact that they think they can judge me based upon like one line I've said. Hilarious. Listen to the show, then call me a twat. It's a lot easier once you've listened to the show, trust me. But it's this idea of, it's not the Michael Jackson thing I want to talk about, it's not the topic I'm picking, but I'm telling the story to introduce the topic. With all this bullshit that went on, and again, this is the point I made to these people. I said to them, when you post something or shove it down people's throats, which by the way, when it's all over the fucking place, yeah, you're shoving it down people's throats.
I would like to point out, I'm not going to make the joke, but I'd like to point out I am avoiding the Michael Jackson shoving things down throat joke because I'm better than that.
Anyway, the point is, I said when you say something that people don't like and you shove it down people's throats, which I believe they were, and I know they said that I wasn't. Sorry, they said I was. I know they said that I was not doing that, but they were.
Yes.
Regardless of what they may claim, they were, because, come on, fucking trending worldwide, I couldn't get away from it. If I was going to avoid it, I would have to block half my fucking watch list. So fuck that noise, right? People are going to reply. And it may not be nice, it may not be polite, but they're going to reply. And I said this, and then I continued that by saying, you see, that's what you guys are doing, but I am expecting this because I live in the real world. Whereas you guys have reacted like this because I said that, but you don't understand the irony of it. I don't mind you guys complaining to me because I expect it. What you guys seem to be shocked by is the fact that somebody complained about what you said. Which leads me to my topic, which is just the hypocrisy of the internet.
I know, people are so anxious for everyone else to change. Really, they should start with the man in the mirror.
Will you stop making Michael Jackson jokes?
Never!
Come on, but the fact is, when it comes to the internet, when it comes to hypocrisy, there is no greater home for it than the internet. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, DeviantArt, any fucking website with a forum, you are always going to find hypocrisy in argument. After all, the first thing the first type of argument you will ever see, though it's just Adam's dying of Michael Jackson joke-itis, I think. But
I had a joke I was going to make. I'm not going to.
Anyway,
just continue.
The fact is, the first argument you ever see, which is always like, shut the fuck up, man, and then replies, have you ever heard of free speech? And the other person's like, yeah, I've heard it. Then the other person says, well, why don't you shut the fuck up? So it's an interesting idea of, you'll get one person telling another one to shut the fuck up. Then person number two will he'll bring up the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech, which, by the way, First Amendment exists in American law. Just want to point out that the amendments there, like Fifth Amendment, they're not universal. They're America. So over here we have like the Human Rights Act and all that, which I think, if I remember rightly, Article 10 actually states that we don't really have freedom of speech. Rather, it could be edited and all that, and censored and all that bullshit. But anyway, I digress. The point is, you get someone claiming freedom of speech.
Yeah. And
then person number one will be like, oh yeah, well I understand about freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. Then number two will immediately turn around and say, well, why don't you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
The only argument I've ever heard to counter the First Amendment argument, the right of freedom of speech, right? Well, somebody brought up the freedom of speech, and then somebody brought up the Fifth Amendment, which is the right to remain silent.
Yeah.
Which sounds clever, but it isn't. The other hypocrisy is basically what happened in my case. I saw something I didn't like, so I commented on it to show my disliking of it.
Yeah.
At which instantly everybody had a go at me for doing that. But their very act is what I did.
Yeah, and I remember that. I like the fact every time I start speaking down, I'm going to make a Michael Jackson joke. So I'm just going to get on with it. Yeah, they kept him up pretty much all night with that kind of thing. I mean, they just didn't want to stop till they got enough. I'm here every week, folks.
I'll tell you one thing your jokes ain't.
What?
Thrillers.
Oh, do you know what? Beat it.
Oh, fuck you.
I got 1,000,000 of them.
Come back down, all is forgiven. But the fact is that, there's such acts of hypocrisy there. Other arguments. People who...
I'd like to interrupt and say the reason I know these, I've got a Michael Jackson song list up and I'm just scrolling through them.
So you're cheating?
Yeah.
But you're getting away with it?
Yeah.
Makes you a smooth criminal.
See? Yes, see, people.
Yeah, but I'm allowed to do that because you've made at least 25.
No.
Anyway, my point is, there's a lot of hypocrisy in argument. I don't get nearly this amount of hypocrisy in a standard argument with someone face to face. I can't recall having an argument where somebody said something to me about freedom of speech. I've argued back and then they've told me to shut up. It's generally just been, we keep shouting until one of us can't increase our volume anymore. But
I've seen it happen. It's beautiful.
Yeah. But it's just this insane. What is it about the internet that makes us act like retards?
Is it not the anonymity of it all?
But the thing about, take me, right? You know that sometimes I can be very well versed and very well presented in my arguments online, and sometimes I'm a dick.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll go on YouTube or do not, and I'll post a debate and I'll be quite fluent. Sometimes I'll go on Twitter and say people, he's also dead, get over it. Sometimes I come into career, but I'm the
potato. Also, have you ever met anyone that called it a potato?
Never.
I'm going to find the one who, if you call it a potato, seriously, email us at shouttheshow@gmail.com.
Desperate to get that email out there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm pimping it out, I believe.
Fair play. Now, my deal is, I'm the kind of person that tries to get himself noticed. For how I am, whilst in my nature, face to face, I am quite a shy person at times. I will still make the effort to get to know people, but when it comes to the internet, I've got a lot of stuff I want to promote. I write books. I write blogs. I do videos. I do shows. Obviously, we're doing a show right now.
All in all, you just want to be starting something.
Shut up. The point is, I actively get myself out there to get attention. I am an attention seeker, but I'm an attention seeker with a purpose. I'm not just someone that wants people to take notice. I've got a product to sell.
Yes.
So the anonymity of it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. If anything, I don't want the anonymity. Yeah. I've never posted something as anonymous. I've never posted something as a private person. Obviously I've sent private messages. That's a different thing entirely. But I don't get why the internet we suddenly go, we smarter! and typing bash away at the keyboard as if we're so fucking Archimedes and fucking what? You're looking at
I know you people can't see it, but what he's doing is when he went and did the whole Irish murder, what he did was he raised his arms and brought them down, a bit like a gorilla trying to hold on to a dolphin's fins.
Have you ever seen a gorilla holding onto a dolphin's fin?
Yes.
When?
Google images.
We'll research that later.
Yeah, because typing anything into Google Images is a good idea.
Well, only if you got the safety on, which I never do. Because I'm a risk taker, baby. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't get why about the internet makes us retards when we come to arguing. Like, what is it because we can Google shit and we just, we'll just copy and paste this argument, reword it a bit, and pretend it's ours, which I see a lot.
I think it's because with the whole new social media thing, I'd be able to point out, that when trolls were born, I reckon what happened was they bred, and now the genes of the trolls are spreading throughout the world. I don't quite know how they breed. I mean, I've spoken to trolls; they're annoying mothers, but it is that kind of thing. It's when people know that they're not going to have to face many repercussions. It is a lot easier to just be a massive, massive retard.
Yeah, I mean. It's just I remember when trolls didn't exist in terms of the internet. God, I mean, hello, I'm the generation that was there for its fucking genesis. I remember on the internet, the closer you got to a troll were people hacking into computers. Now trolls are just people who are just like, yeah, oh, you're fucking gay.
By the way, that accent was brilliant. I don't quite know what accent. It was brilliant.
Which one?
It was like when you're like hacking into computers.
Hacking into computers, yeah.
You turned a tiny bit Scottish.
But anyway, so yeah, trolls. Seriously, trolls, hypocrisy. The internet is your one source stop.
I'm a little bit tired now. It's just the way you make me feel.
I hate you.
I know you.
We finished with we're finished with the Michael Jackson topic. We're moving on to another topic, which I'm going to throw to Adam because you have something to talk about. And it's not Michael Jackson.
Well, in a way,
it's not Michael fucking Jackson.
Okay, here's the deal, people. Because I'm a teenager, at some point it was going to happen that I would have to talk about porn, and I'm going.
Yay!
No, subdue the Dan.
I was trying, but with Dan not here, I feel I have to make up.
Okay, people. I want to just make something abundantly clear here, okay?
Okay.
If you watch porn,
yes,
you're not a bad person.
No, you're not.
You're normal. When people tell you you're...
Well, that depends on what kind of porn it is.
If you watch the correct type of porn... Because believe me, there's a type that's incorrect. My point is...
That's true.
My point is this, right? You're not gonna go blind if you watch porn unless you watch really bright porn. You're not gonna get hair on your palms unless you paid extra to. The point is this. You're not bad for watching it, okay? You're not bad for watching the news. You're just a hell of a lot more depressed. Now, here's the deal, right? I read in a newspaper, in a garage of all places, that there's a new study. Well, I say study, basically the Daily Mail decided to write for a bit about their normal crap. Or it could have been the Daily Mail. It was one of the crappy papers. But the point was, they said that children and teens, they meant teens, I don't think many children watch porn, I think they watch Iggle Piggle mainly. But
they have to define the ages.
Yeah, when apparently teens that watch porn grow up to be rapists.
Yeah, there's a few things I've got to comment on here.
Yeah.
First of all, male research team, yeah, that's pretty much like, we wrote the story, what do you think? Looks legit. Right, we'll post it. We did a study.
They just saw the word porn and posted, man.
Well, basically what they did, right, they asked one person for their opinion, agreed, and said 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because if you round it up, it's...
Do you reckon they did some work where they times it by 10?
Well, basically, it's the thing, right? If you say 9 out of 10 people liked it, you could say, it's 90% of people liked it. Which is the same as 90 out of 100. So that's how they do it.
But the thing is that 80% of statistics are false.
Well, 50% of that would disagree.
I know. Let's see. Here's the deal, right? Porn does not make rapists.
No.
Okay.
Well, there is Porn Man, which not Porn, Rape Man, which is a rather unfortunate. Okay, I best explain to you.
Because the way you're saying it makes it sound like a really weird, like, supervillain.
Well,
like, just, I am with that.
Actually, technically, he's a superhero.
Hang on. Is he a hero to Japanese tentacle monsters?
Well, the Japanese, maybe. No, basically what it is, there is a... Everyone might know by now that there is such thing as something called hentai, which is like anime or manga, but in the more erotic form, okay?
The funny thing is, hentai is actually Japanese for pervert.
Which is awesome. But the problem is... What? It makes sense.
Oh, fair enough. Continue, please.
Yeah, perverts are awesome. Stephen Caulfield.
Hashtag.
Shut the fuck up, boy. But one of the stories was a guy called Rape Man, who would basically have sex with adulterous women, which kind of defeats the point. It's kind of hypocritical if you think about it. And before you ask me, so you can make another Michael Jackson joke, no, it didn't matter if they were black or white.
I wasn't going to, but thanks.
But anyway, the point is, there is some...
So basically you're saying that because he was with women, he didn't have to beat it.
Anyway, I killed my little brother. I upgrade myself from the co-producer to the sole producer.
I will be the sole producer. I'll be dead. I won't have any body. I'll just have a soul, an entity flying about going, ooh.
Anyway. The point...
Maybe I'm smoking marijuana.
Hashtag anyway.
Hashtag continue, please.
Anyway.
Hashtag.
Anyway.
Hashtag break the...
Shut up!
I'm sorry. I'm just trying
The
to
point
give
is-
Gizmy his little bit.
Yeah, the point... well, you don't need help with his little bit, okay? Anyway. Rape Man is a bad example, right, of the story, but he does exist.
He's a bad example of a human.
There is a darker side to porn, but porn
I
generally...
thought you about to say there's a darker side to rape.
it's pretty much an eclipse at this point.
Yeah, I don't think the song "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" kind of equates to this situation. I apologise for everything I am saying.
You should. But anyway, my point is, whilst there are darker sides, there is a good aspect of porn. This idea that it creates rapists. Here's the problem: rapists tend to be sexually oppressed. All right, they're repressed. They are people who, let's just say, have issues with sexuality. Often, they have trouble having a healthy sexual relationship, or they're just, I don't know, too prudish to knock one out. But the point is, porn is just naked imagery.
See, we're at the point in the world now where porn is not a topic that's taboo. You can go into places and talk to people about porn. They have conventions for this crap.
They have awards shows.
Granted, I'd prefer to go to E3 than a porn convention, but...
Pretty much the same thing, probably.
Yeah.
The next few years.
The thing is...
It's a bunch of people whoring themselves out for the entertainment of men, mainly.
Yeah, but
a couple of women as well.
Here's the thing, alright?
Yep.
Porn is a release, as we've seen, like...
Yeah.
You play Modern Warfare, so you don't actually go out and shoot someone. You watch porn, so you don't go out and try to forcibly have sex with someone. If you are lucky enough to have someone of which you can have regular sex, good for you! I'm proud of you. However, when you're not, there are two things you have. One's illegal, one's porn. Although, there are some interesting porn facts. I believe it's either Australia or Brazil, where women with size A are not allowed to model because they think it will promote paedophilia.
Probably. Makes sense. But look, here's the thing, because I think, I'm being a little bit older, I'm far more knowledgeable in this matter than you are.
You've had the time to do the more research.
Not just me, I've had a few interesting relationships, let me tell you. But the fact is...
With porn?
No, ex-girlfriends.
Oh, fair. But they had a relationship with porn?
We may have observed it together.
Oh, right, fair enough. This show is taking a really weird turn.
What? Yeah, we've gone from Michael Jackson jokes to talking about porn.
Well,
we want to talk about a weird turn.
Actually, I can see the logical progression.
No, he was innocent, apparently.
Yeah, but...
By the way, just a point there, I do actually think he was innocent. I just think, which is brilliant, because in that argument, they have a go at me, and they were more offended at the fact that I said he was dead And then the fact that people were saying he was guilty. So people saying he was guilty and he was burning in hell, less offensive than me saying he's dead. Matter of fact, more offensive than opinion.
See, I've got a question.
Yes.
They think watching porn makes you a rapist.
Right.
Does being a baker make you a bread bun?
That's not quite a working analogy, really, because porn. The thing is,
Possibly.
No, because what you're saying is, if you are a porn maker, are you a rapist? Because bakers are what you mean is if you buy food from a baker's.
No, I mean if you are a baker.
But people who watch porn aren't making the porn.
They might do if they decide to branch
But your
out.
analogy doesn't work.
Joe, else doesn't work.
Your face.
No, I was not going to say my face. My face worked perfectly as a repellent of women.
No, see how you didn't say of men there.
I have become unfortunate in this area.
Weird turn. Hashtag. But anyway.
Hashtag. Yeah, I find many weird turns in porn. Usually because they're asked.
I think what you mean is, right, if you, analogy you used the other day, if you play shoot 'em up games, does that make you a murderer?
Yeah.
Which it doesn't.
Although there is a connection between bread buns and porn. There are occasions where they are forced down people's throats.
I was just going with the buns being an analogy for an ass.
See, you went a lot more innocent than I did. I don't know what that quite says about this.
I like the fact that mine is more innocent than yours. But anyway,
How the hell did we get here from the Great Wall of China?
the internet.
And anonymity. The internet solves all your problems.
The internet is responsible for all our stories tonight.
You know what? To be fair, we were locked to the internet. Otherwise, we'd just be sitting here ranting in a computer screen.
Exactly.
At this point, we get a rant to a computer screen and then to you people.
Exactly. Now, leaving this behind, let's go on to a new topic.
Leaving all the behinds in porn.
Oh dear God. Yes, leaving all this behind, I want to remind you guys that next week we'll be having the #shout quiz, where I'll be playing the Quizmaster, and the people that will be quizzed are Adam Caulfield, TheLonewalker1, and Dan, the Geek King Adamson.
Cookies!
And Dan, the Geek King Adamson, who couldn't be here, of course. I'll be testing them out. If you've got any general knowledge questions you'd like us to ask them, then just send them in to DSteveJones313@hotmail.com, because then I can see them and he won't.
And if you could send me some cookies, I'd be really grateful. You can send them to my actual address. That you can find out by emailing shoptheshow@gmail.com.
Yes. So basically, just to round up what's been a nice, short little episode there. Let's just have a couple of random questions, I think.
And of course, Twitter time!
Oh yes, of course. We're moving on to the second edition of Adam's new show, which is Tweets of the Week.
Tweets of the Week or Twitter time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have been scrolling through my Twitter pages all week long to find the best tweets I could find for you people. And I have found some. They just a collection. Again, a couple of them are from George Carlin, or well, his fans who have reposted some of his old quotes. And I would like to start off with this one. Apologies to everyone in China. Mothers feed their babies with tiny little spoons, so I have to wonder, what do Chinese mothers use? Do they use toothpicks?
Oh yeah.
The second one is this. No, that would be the exact same one that I just got. I clicked the same one twice because I'm a genius.
Indeed.
#genius. This is a technical difficulty. It seems I have got the same tweet twice, so there are only 2 tweets this week.
Okay.
This is the second one, of course. I do apologise. I'm a retard. Powers of the internet. The second one is from at OMG Facts. It goes this. Did you know, Stephen, the colour green used to be considered unlucky in Ireland since it was associated with fairies who stole children?
Oh.
Indeed. And that, my friends, was Twitter time!
Well, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
Well, I say breaking news as it was just reported today. The Australian online retailer Kogan.com has introduced the world's first tax on Microsoft's Internet Explorer 7 browser. Customers who use Internet Explorer 7 will have to pay an extra surcharge on online purchases made to the firm's site. Chief Executive Ruslan Kogan told the BBC he wanted to recoup the time and cost involved in rendering the website into an antique browser.
And see, the funny thing is, when they found out, of course, I believe that the guy turned the report and said, "Good night." It's like, no.
But anyway, this was reported on BBC News.
I was reported on BBC News once.
So thanks to BBC News for that breaking headline.
Thank you, BBC. You are our source of all.
They do have an app on Twitter that you can download for free. Well, is it free? Or it might be 69 pence. I'm not quite sure. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Indeed.
Just get it if you want to keep up to date with news. But yeah. So Australia. A tax on using Internet Explorer 7 because they want to promote it as antiquated, so they want people to stop using it, basically. Wow. Okay, Australia. That's new.
Have they had one too many beers?
It's like, I mean, I know Internet Explorer sucks, but it's like the idiots just won't learn. Tax the motherfuckers.
There's a joke I have to tell you about that. There's a phrase I have to say, but I can't say it on the show. See,
you know it's bad when we've talked about rape, but we can't mention what he wants to talk about.
I could, but I'd get wrong.
Then that's not.
I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Although, apparently, if you go to the right website...
Shut up! But basically what this means is like, if you use Internet Explorer 7, in Australia, right, you use Internet Explorer 7 browser to purchase items online, you'll be charged an additional tax on top of it for using Internet Explorer. Wow. That is
Okay, to be honest, I've come up with some retarded ideas in my time. I decided to try to take over the country with nothing but a spoon and, I believe, some jam. And it didn't quite work out. But even that, I never thought about taxing people for using Internet Explorer. Surely, using Internet Explorer is punishment enough.
Well, what can I say if people are weird?
The internet really is becoming...
Yeah.
But yeah,
This makes me wonder. Rule 34.
Yeah.
It's all about porn, right? Do you reckon there's Internet Explorer porn?
I know there's Firefox porn.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know the...
I don't want to know.
I would also like to point out, this is I'm moving on to something different here. This is a really short segment.
Yep.
It's something that made me laugh, like, at the very beginning of the week, and it was this. The England football team manager, and this is funny, right? The England football team manager, do you know what he did to try to ensure that England's players would play better?
What did you do?
He told them they weren't allowed to have sex with their wives until they beat a team. Just think about that for a second.
If anyone told me that I couldn't have sex with my wife until I win something, I would beat them to within an inch of their lives.
But just think about, you know how we wrote, like, there are a lot of people in this country who were like, I don't like footballs because this, and they have legit reasons. How much were they amused? Like, they would have gone home to their wives and just had to go, I can now say that I can do something better than a footballer can, other than thinking.
But I'm sorry. It's like, you know what's really sad? A lot of the players probably would have done it. Probably going to, well, the coach says I can't. I'll have to win a match, otherwise can't have sex with you.
I'm sorry, you can't play with my balls until I play with them.
Yeah. So basically...
This is such an innocent show.
The rate of adultery is going to go up. And I have noticed this show's gotten smuttier since Dan's not here. I'm rather surprised.
Dan is our moral compass.
We're screwed.
So are the people on certain websites, you know.
You know who wants screwed?
Yeah.
You and Dan. Ha! You're Max and my last list too far away.
It reminds me, I can't swear, but I would like to show you, like, there's a joke that Gary told, and I'd like to give him a special mention for this joke. It was freaking hilarious. Basically, he got into a conversation with a lass from America, and he was suggesting certain actions be taken, and I'd just like you to see this last little joke there.
Fair enough.
That made me laugh so much.
Anyway.
Yeah, you people don't get to know unless you email me at shouttheshow@gmail.com.
They're not going to email you to find out what the joke was.
Email me at shouttheshow.com.
Anyway, so let's wrap
I'll send
up.
you cookies.
let's wrap up this.
No, cookies actually made me better.
Let's wrap up this rather short episode this week.
Okay.
By just talk about some of the things we may be talking about next week. With Dan coming back next week, hopefully we'll get actually talk about E3. Yes, we're a bit behind the times, but hopefully we'll get to have a chat about E3. Also, I'll be talking about anything that happens to me, and if nothing happens to me in the week of interest, I'll be talking about my new love for some comics. Yes, with me and Dad opening a comic store in the near future, I've been reading a fuck ton of comics, and boy am I falling in love. But which superhero is getting me feeling rather disappointed? Which superhero that I hate do I suddenly have respect for? And which superhero do I love and do I still love?
Great man.
No! You fucking cunt nugget. But anyway.
I would like just to say, I do apologise for everything I have said in today's episode. I sincerely mean, I would like to apologise for pretty much everything I've said this episode, bar the stuff that made sense.
Yeah.
Also, Dan, we love you. Please come back. We miss you, and I promise I'll get donuts next episode. Please come back.
And of course, next week we will have the hashtag shout quiz,
I might do better than the WWE entrance theme quiz.
which no one knows about.
Nobody knows.
So basically, we're going to wrap this up now. He is TheLonewalker1.
No, I'm not. I'm a duck in disguise.
He is a duck in disguise.
Quack.
I am SteveJones313.
No, you're not. You're the Lone Walker 1.
He is Adam Caulfield. I am Stephen Caulfield, and we are going to wish you a very good night. And join us next week for hashtag
Shout!